And welcome to our season finale, the FCIAC championship game here at Boyle Stadium in Stamford. And Mazzella again keeps the ball and has got the first down and then some. He breaks several tackles. He may go all the way. Forget about it. Mazzella's across midfield, the 45, all the way to the 20, the 10, touchdown New Canaan, and that is a backbreaker. Time running out modest. He's got his man Allen at the 10-yard line. He pulls his way to the 5. He's in. Touchdown. Mark Allen in the first score of the ball game with just 6 seconds left in the game.
Cablevision 12 Sports presents the High School Football Game of the Week. The FCIAC Championship is on the line as Lou Marinelli leads his New Canaan Rams against the undefeated and #1 ranked Golden Eagles of Trumbull, led by Jerry McDougall. Today's game is brought to you by your Fairfield County Chevrolet dealers, You and Me and Chevy Makes 3, and in part by Johnny's Records and surfwear for the universe, and by Ralph's Radio, your leading auto sound product center.
Well, this one is for all the marbles in the FCIAC football conference as the Trumbull Golden Eagles at a perfect 11-0, ranked #1 in the state, take on a very talented New Canaan Ram team, currently 8-3, and looking to leave their mark on the FCIAC this year. I'm Dennis Buckman, and with me, as usual, Steve Christie. And Steve, we should have a good one today again.
Oh, we definitely do. We have two of the best. These two teams have got themselves to this position because they are two of the best. A very tough defense for Trumbull, a real good offense for New Canaan.
And I'll tell you what, standing by right now, Mike Quick with the respective coaches of these two teams, and Mike's going to tell us, get their thoughts on today's ball game. Mike?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We feel we have a great one here today. You know, Horace Greeley said back some time ago, "Go west, young man, go west." It's obvious Mr. Greeley didn't know FCIAC football because you go east when you want to see ball playing. And who better to talk about the east than New Canaan coach Lou Marinelli and Trumbull coach Jerry McDougall. Guys, congratulations, you made it here. This is what everyone wants. First, Coach Lou, without the new format in the FCX, you're not here. You must love it.
I absolutely love it. I think it's great for our league. I think it's great for our kids. They've worked very hard, and it's a pleasure being here.
How do you stop Trumbull?
Jerry, how do I stop Trumbull?
You said you were going to ask me the question first. Lou is the guest, and we're the home team. Why do we always go to the New Canaan Rams and ask them? Because they're a bit more vociferous than the Hogs from up in Trumbull way. But congratulations to Louie here on a heck of a job throughout the year, and best of luck today, buddy.
You know, you wouldn't think these guys have the biggest game of their season right in front of them. Before, over on the Trumbull bench, right behind our cameras, there's Dunkin' Donuts, there's coffee, and you say, what does Dunkin' Donuts and coffee have to do with football? This guy here trying to ease up Mr. McDougall, getting him some appetizers before the game. They're loose, they're having fun, but in about 10 minutes, it's all business. Let's go back to Dennis and Steve.
And again, there you see a study in contrast between Coach Lou Marinelli and Coach Jerry McDougall. And Steve, not unlike their teams as well, show that contrast.
Well, definitely not, Dennis. New Canaan Rams, very loose, throwing the ball, running the ball, doing a lot of gadget plays. On the other side, you got the Trumbull defense. Very strong, very conservative, but they're winners, and that's the key.
Again, both teams very much embodying the spirit of their coaches. Coach Lou Marinelli, a fun-loving kind of guy. Jerry McDougall, conservative, staid, one of the senior statesmen in high school football. Steve, that brings us to the point today's game. That New Canaan offense, a very talented one. What kind of things will Trumbull's defense have to do to counter?
Well, Trumbull's defense is a very aggressive defense. They go at the ball very hard. I think that if New Canaan is going to counter this kind of defense, they have to run a lot of misdirection plays, the draw plays. Last week we saw Teddy Grogan scamper 21 yards for a touchdown on a draw play, and Trumbull's defense commits a lot very quickly. So you're going to have to do some misdirection plays to beat them.
For those of you who have not seen New Canaan yet this season, they are a passing team. Of course, Tom Mazzella, the quarterback, a very talented guy, and he's got two very good receivers in Mr. Lewis and Mr. Kovacevic.
Well, definitely so. Kovacevic and Lewis are two big play receivers. Lewis really came of age last weekend as he caught two big passes down to the 1-yard line. He's a real fine wideout, and I think he's really starting to show that this kid is some kind of talent to go along with big number 23. And, you know, they will not hesitate to throw the ball. I think today they have to get some protection, though, for their quarterback. They had 3 sacks last time. They were pressured repeatedly, and today they have to get some protection because Mazzella could do some serious damage through the air.
Offensively now, Steve, what about kind of things will Trumbull try to do?
Well, Trumbull will just pound the ball at you. They're going to run Goldman. They're going to throw a little bit. Vadas will put the ball up in the air a little bit. But, hey, when you got a guy like Eric Goldman, who, by the way, is just 151 yards short of the all-time Trumbull rushing record, you've got to use him.
And they've also got a guy named Jamie Ahern in that backfield, so if you key too much on Mr. Goldman, you've got to deal with Jamie Ahern somewhere along the line. Steve, also, this is an interesting game in the fact that everybody expected Trumbull to be here today. Preseason polls had Trumbull on top. They've been #1 in the state ever since in both the coaches' poll and the writers' poll. New Canaan is somewhat of a surprise being here today.
Well, they definitely are. New Canaan had to overcome a lot of adversity. They lost their first 2 games of the year. They lost their starting quarterback, remember. Overbeek was the quarterback, and now Mazzella has taken over and done a fine job. Now, Trumbull on the other side, they've had to win 3 very close games. Now, if you're going to win those close games, you're going to go places. They had a stretch of 3 straight games, including a last-second victory over New Canaan. And they're going to have to, if you do that, you're going to win some big games. They're in that position because they came through on those 3 big games.
Of course, the teams advancing to today's final. It was Greenwich falling to New Canaan last week in that semifinal, while McMahon was a loser against Trumbull. And as a result, we've got Trumbull, New Canaan today for all the marbles in the FCIAC. When we come back, the opening kickoff of this, the FCIAC championship game, right here on Cablevision.
Drive that car stereo right over to Ralph's Radio, where you can get your car stereo repaired or get the car stereo you really want, or get a car alarm installed. Ralph's Radio does all their own installation and servicing. They also sell and install cellular phones. Don't put up with this when you can listen to this. See Ralph's Radio in Bridgeport today.
We're not just another pretty face. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers, and we want to help you choose a car or truck that's right for you.
By offering you service and selection that's second to none, plus low financing rates.
If you want America's #1 choice in cars and trucks, stop in and see us.
We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers. We're not just another pretty face.
You and me and Chevy makes 3. #1, Fairfield County Chevrolet.
Cablevision advertising works. Join a growing new force in advertising. Cablevision advertising. It's effective and affordable. Combine the impact of television, the targeting of special interest magazines, and the frequency of radio. As a Cablevision advertiser, you'll reach a responsive audience in the nation's #1 market in consumer spendable income. You'll advertise in programs designed to reach a specific audience. Sports channel. Sit back, relax, and watch the home teams at home. MTV, 24-hour music television, featuring the hottest and latest rock videos. USA Network, entertainment for the entire family. ESPN, the total sports network 24 hours a day. CNN, cable news network, 24 hours of news and information. Increase your advertising power with the added impact of print ads in the Cablevision Guide, where your ad will be seen by thousands of Cablevision subscribers for an entire month. Call us 846-4700. Cablevision advertising can work for you.
And here we go. We're at Boyle Stadium in Stamford for the season finale of our Cablevision High School Football Game of the Week. Dennis Buckman along with Steve Christie, and on the field throughout the game, Mike Quick will be checking in with some of the players and coaches' reactions throughout this big football game. We're going to go down to the field and referee Bill Keefe for the coin toss.
Gentlemen, before the toss of the coin, let me introduce to you today my very capable colleagues. Mr. Mather is your back judge. Your line judge is Mr. Craven. Your linesman is Mr. Howard. And your umpire is Mr. Fiordalisi. Okay, the game clock, of course, today is official. If we have any problem, we'll take it over the field. There will be no 4-minute warning, okay? Now, the coin is a silver dollar, tail and a head. Okay, in the air. Okay. You have won the toss and you have elected to defer, okay? One.
The game will also be shown at 6 o'clock tonight.
Okay, they have deferred their choice. And you are going to, they are kicking from the scoreboard. You're going to defend this goal. You're receiving at this goal down here. Stay with your back to this goal. Okay. We've deferred. Okay, you're going to receive. Okay, men, shake hands. Let's have a good ball game.
And there you see it, the Golden Eagles of Trumbull winning the coin toss and electing instead to kick off and receive instead in the second half.
Well, we've seen that happen many times already this year. The strong defensive team deciding to defer and have the wind at their backs for the first quarter and put their defense on the field for the first series.
Again, these two teams advancing to today's championship. It was Trumbull 24, McMahon 8 last weekend in the FCIAC semifinal encounter out at Trumbull. Elsewhere, New Canaan was beating up on Greenwich to the tune of a 19-6 win. And again, that is how they got here. Right now, we've got the national anthem.
National colors are at the north end of the stadium. Please rise as the New Canaan High School Rams marching band plays our national anthem.
And here we go. We are now set for the opening kickoff of the ball game. As you can see, the Trumbull Golden Eagles with their black jerseys, gold helmets and pants. While across the way, it's the New Canaan Rams with their red helmets, white jerseys, and gray pants. The respective head coaches, as you met earlier prior to the game, Jerry McDougall, the head helmsman of the Trumbull Golden Eagles. He has been a successful one. And we'll go talk to Jerry McDougall down on the sideline.
Run full speed because you're gonna slip. Break down position and then run them to the sideline. Yeah. Everybody get to that ball. Yeah. Now right off, hey, ring the bell right off the bat. Yeah!
Yeah!
Let's go, man.
Let's go, Come on!
Come on, Trumbull. Let's go after him right away, guys. Let's go after him right away. Good luck and God bless you. Yeah!
And there you see his counterpart, Lou Marinelli, in his 6th year at the head of the New Canaan Rams, and he's put together a 38-21-1 mark with the Rams, his only losing season. I believe it was a 4-6 campaign in his very first year. Since then, they have been very successful in New Canaan.
And Dennis, it's interesting to note that Trumbull had deferred the opening toss. They had won the toss and decided to defer. Well, they do not have the wind at their backs. They're actually putting the wind at the backs of New Canaan. So I would not be surprised at all to see Tom Mazzella come out throwing right away. Now, it's almost a catch-22 for New Canaan because what they want to do is they want to keep that potent Trumbull offense off the field. Well, by throwing the ball, they'll get on a little quicker. But hey, baby, that's their bread and butter, passing the ball.
Steve, you know, Trumbull has been here several times in the FCIAC championship game, whereas it's been quite a while for the New Canaan Rams.
Oh, it's been 14 years and counting for the New Canaan Rams. Trumbull's been there, was there 6 years ago, 1980, came up on the short end. They're both looking to put one on the boards today.
And here we go now with the opening kickoff. The Golden Eagles at 11-0 and the New Canaan Rams at 8-3 as Gene Vadas now prepares to tee it up and kick it off to New Canaan to get this ball game underway. And Mr. Vadas is going to get a tired arm if he doesn't kick off soon.
And he's a quarterback, so he better keep that rested. You know, I tell you, we've seen a lot of big plays on the kickoff so far this year, and no better time to do it than now.
Lewis and Chris Barnes back to receive. It's going to be Lewis at his own 20, and he is slipped up and downed at the 26-yard line. So the New Canaan Rams will take over 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line.
Right away, you got a chance to see the way the wind is going to play some tricks here this afternoon as Vadas kicked into a stiff breeze. That breeze is blowing pretty good. There you see the offensive backs for New Canaan. The receivers, we talked about them.
And Kovacevic and Gifford, your tight end. And they've also got Mr. Lewis to throw to. Carbone, Gill, Amos, and the rest of the offensive line of the New Canaan Rams. And here we go again, quarterback Tomazella, number 20, Ted Grogan, your lone setback. And down the right sideline, he was looking for Kovacevic, and someone may have gotten a piece of his arm. It looked like number 26. We'll check on that for you.
It looked like number 42 got in there pretty quick, Willie Gallup. And Gallup really made a fine play. Trumbull defense, their linebackers, Goldman, Pinto, and Meehan. Very strong linebackers, very comparable to the strong linebacking core at Greenwich. And there you see the defensive backs, is Maloff, Island, and I think Cicero was the other one.
So now, after that incompletion, it'll be 2nd and 10 from their own 26. Lewis and Kovacevic wide out, twin receivers to the right. And Mazzella is looking to throw again, a big hole, and he decides to cut it back against the grain. He's to the 30 and out to the 31-yard line. A pickup of about 6 on the play before Mark Allen could bring him down.
And you'll be hearing the name Mark Allen for quite some time this afternoon. Mazzella very scrambling out of the pocket, going to the left, and Mark Allen forces him inside, and Goldman helps out with the tackle.
Allen stands him up, and Goldman finishes him off. Steve, I was looking at that replay. It looked almost as if Mazzella would have been better off to go straight back up the middle with it when that huge hole opened up.
Well, if he had beaten Allen, he had some room to run, but Mark Allen made a fine play in containing him on the outside.
So after a pickup of, call it 4, instead it'll be 3rd and a long 6. And they fake the give. Instead, Mazzella keeps it. He's going to be stopped shy of the first down at the 34-yard line as the Trumbull defense rises up to the occasion to stop that first initial drive by New Canaan on 3 plays. In there on the stop, number 83, Sean Meehan.
And the footing is definitely going to be tough here this afternoon. You've already seen 2 people slip, and there'll be plenty more.
So now Overbeck is in there to kick off, and he gets the punt away.
Nice.
And that sends everybody back. It'll be no return as the Eagles let it roll. Back there, John Della Russo and Nick Ismailoff. And it's going to be down at what looks to be the 2-yard line. Steve, is that correct, the 2?
You know, it's funny. Yeah, it definitely does. I was talking before the game to Lou Pinsack from the Post, and I read an article that he wrote this morning, and he had said that the kicking game has to favor New Canaan. My feelings were that maybe Vadas was the better kicker and maybe the better punter, but evidently he knows what he's talking about, as Overbeek just got his foot into one, and also you have Sales, who does the field goal kicking. So that guy, he's been following. They do just a great job following the high school teams.
And I believe it's Overbeck before we get any calls from the family. Brian Overbeck. And on first down, this is what Trumbull does best. They keep it on the ground with Jamie Ahern straight up to the middle, out to about the 10-yard line. So we'll call it now 2nd down and about 4. Pickup of 6. There you see the Trumbull offense. Those are some fine receivers in that mix. Ismailoff, Pinto, and Allen. And Ismailoff is probably Vadas' favorite target. And there you see the guys who give Vadas that time and blow the holes open on the line of scrimmage for 1,000-yard rusher, Eric Goldman. And it is Goldman, the lone setback. Well, I'll make that Goldman and Ahern. And they go with Goldman, and he is close to a first down. We'll see where they spot the ball. And the ball out at the 14. In there on the stop, Ron McGreevy.
Well, the Trumbull team certainly knows how to run the ball. They average 182 yards per game rushing the football. They've got 2,000 yards so far this year. That's compared to just 1,085 they've let their opponents have. So the Trumbull rushing team is very, very formidable.
And Ismailoff comes out, and Sean Fangcook and Tim Farrell check in for the Golden Eagles, and here they come on 3rd and inches. And you can bet Goldman is likely to get the ball right here. And instead, they go with Ahern, and he's got the first down. And Steve, that time they probably figured everyone was keying on Goldman. Let's go down to the field now, and Mike Quick.
Well, it's obvious Mother Nature's going to play a big part in today's game. Already twice we've seen guys fall down when they're in the open field. New Canaan's opening kickoff, Mike Lewis goes down. Then just before you see Jamie Ahern break into the secondary, he slips. If it wasn't for the mud, maybe he's gone. Wait till they get in between the 40s, though, ladies and gentlemen, because it's all sand that's covered up the water. Now let's go back to the game.
And Goldman picks up a big chunk of real estate. Out across the 25 to what looks to be the 27. Credit Frank Bianco, number 44, the New Canaan linebacker with the tackle. And Steve, Bianco is a good one.
Well, he certainly is. He's in on a lot of plays. He fills that gap very quickly, but, you know, 7-8 yards downfield is not good enough. Got to have some penetration by those interior linemen. The Trumbull offense is not going to fool you, Dennis. We talked about it before the game. They're just going to run the ball right at New Canaan, and they're going to hope to be successful doing that.
And Goldman picking up 8 yards on that last carry, bringing up 2nd and 2. That's Ahern, right tackle. He busts through all on his own. And again, another first down for the Golden Eagles. And you know Jerry McDougal wanted nothing more than to come out and establish that running game right off the bat, and they've done it.
Well, he certainly did. I mean, you talk about setting up the pass with the run. Don't be surprised to see Trumbull put the ball up in the air. They're a big play passing team, whereas on the ground, they're going to get there 6, 7, 8 yards per pop. But through the air, they're going to get you 20 or 30.
Ball just outside the Trumbull 30, call it the 31-yard line, 1st and 10. And that's Goldman. That time, nobody fooled, as 4 New Canaan jerseys are right there to say hello.
And there, that time, Terry Wise led the defensive charge. The defensive end, 6'4", 165-pound junior for the New Canaan Rams. As he plugged up the hole there, you're going to have to get some penetration from those interior linemen. You cannot have all the linebackers making all the tackles.
Steve, also in there, Peter Pissarro and Frank Bianco for New Canaan. And last week, the McMahon Senators really shut down the running game of the Eagles, but it was Allen and Ismailoff doing the damage as Vadas had to go up top, and they were able to do it. This is Goldman on the pitch, left side. Kovacevic drives him out of bounds at the 35-yard line, a pickup of 4.
Well, that time Ismailoff blocked Kovacevic outside. Goldman ran outside, and there was no gain. Well, when you say, well, there was 4 yards, but there was no considerable gain. That time, had Goldman cut the ball upfield a little bit quicker, he may have had a big gain. Tough to get your footing on a field like this, though. You can't make those tight cuts.
Goldman has had some big games this year. Against Staples, he rushed for 196 yards. Against Wilton, he had 170, 104 against Fairfield. So he can really do it to you. That's Goldman right there. You see why as he bangs off the tackle, spins for a couple of additional yards before Dan Fessenmeyer can bring him down at what looks like the 38-yard line.
And there you see bread and butter, Trumbull, Goldman. They're certainly not going to put the ball in the air, I guess, and they'll have to punt into the stiff breeze here.
So New Canaan bends a little bit, but they do not break. And now the Golden Eagles will have to kick the ball away. That's Vadas back at his own 20. He'll be kicking to Lewis and Kovacevic. They're at their own 35-yard line. And a low snap. Vadas gets one off, not one of his better efforts, and it's going to roll. And New Canaan will get it now at the 38-yard line, 1st and 10. 6:06 to go, first quarter, we're just underway. No score in this FCIAC championship game between Trumbull and New Canaan.
23-yard punt that time for Vadas, and again, the wind had something to do with that. Come second quarter, Vadas will be getting off the 40, 50-yarders, but you know, the wind's going to play a major factor. I was kind of surprised to see Trumbull come out, decide to defer, and then on the same hand, put the wind against their back, you know, at the backs of New Canaan. So kind of interesting decision, but Coach McDougal feels the second quarter is going to be his and the third quarter is going to be his.
Well, here are the Rams on their second chance. 1st and 10. This time they go with Grogan. He had 2 touchdowns last week against Greenwich, and that time he bulls his way for about 5 across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
That time Grogan ran right over Bill Pinto. And see Coach McDougal quite concerned about that right there. Actually see the back of Coach McDougal. But, you know, that play may have been just 6 yards, but the added impact of running a guy over just charges up your team.
Bill Pinto and Sean Meehan getting a good taste of what they've got in store this afternoon and trying to bring down a very feisty Ted Grogan. Again, Grogan, 2 touchdowns last week. And on second down, he finds Lewis at the 45, I believe. We'll check that for you. Either way, it is shy of a first down, is right there defensively, Bill Pinto.
Pinto did a fine job of coming up real strong from his safety position and stopping Lewis right there for a very small gain. They bring up about a 3rd and 2, 2.5. Hey, look for them to use the right side of the field here.
Ball on the 46-yard line. And we are having trouble spotting the ball. And, real nasty glare coming at us in the press box here. So we will do our best to keep you apprised of the ball's placement. But right now it is 3rd. Call it a long 2. They go to Grogan, and he is tripped up in the backfield as Eric Goldman is in there almost on the snap.
Well, again, they're a very quick penetration kind of team. If you're going to beat this Trumbull team, you're going to have to do some misdirection plays, maybe throw the ball over the middle when they blitz. But, hey, that's a tough call. Trumbull defense, very, very tough.
So for the second time, Trumbull has held Duquesne to 3 plays. The punt is almost blocked by Mark Allen. But Ismailoff will take it and field it for the Eagles at his own 25. Breaks a couple of tackles and gets out to the 32-yard line. Dan Fessenmeyer, 6 foot, 195-pound senior, getting down there to make the stop.
Fessenmeyer doing a good job of getting downfield. Ismailoff broke a couple of tackles. Looked like he may have some room, but Fessenmeyer put an end to that as the Golden Eagles take over right about the 27-yard line. And once again, we'll see if they're going to stay on the ground, run this first quarter out, and hope to get the wind at their backs for the second quarter. 3:51 left to go in the first quarter.
I'll tell you, Ismailoff is a good one. He is wide out to the right, and you'll hear from him before today's over. That time, it's Eric Goldman. He goes for 2 yards off left tackle. And I started to say, Steve, I've seen Trumbull play about 4 times this season, and they are a very impressive team. And one of the people I think that's most underrated is Nick Ismailoff. You hear a lot about Goldman and Vadas, and justifiably, they're great athletes. But Ismailoff seems to be the spark plug. When they really need some 3 or 4 or 5 yards in a critical situation, almost invariably they'll look for number 11.
He's also come up with some pretty big plays on the offensive side as far as long gainers, as looks like Ahern goes up off the right tackle, picks up about 3 yards. But, you know, Dennis, get back to Ismailoff. He's big play man on both offense and defense. Last week he brought back an interception for a touchdown, so he also does it on the defensive side of the ball.
That's for sure. He is a good one. Not a big guy, but a good athlete. So that's going to bring up 3rd down now and about 5 in there on the tackle. Peter Pissarro and Matt Gels for the Rams.
Well, here's an interesting situation. 3rd and 5, you'd think it's a throw situation, but if their play calling is any indication of what happens, they're going to run the ball.
2:40 to go, first quarter, and Vadas is looking to throw, and he's looking short. The short man is Mark Allen, and he does just what he's supposed to do, going to the first down marker and turning it out, and picks up the first down for the Eagles.
Mark Bavaro Allen. I mean, this guy plays a real mean tight end. He's the kind of guy you got to get the ball into the hands of, because you throw him a 5-yard, 7-yard pass, he can break it all the way. We've seen him do it personally twice so far this year.
We saw him do it against Greenwich in that great ball game when they scored on the last play of the game to win it, 7-0.
That's right. Last year, they also won the state championship via Mark Allen. Touchdown pass at the end of the game.
That's right. The ball now on the 39-yard line of Trumbull. 1st and 10. They go right back to Goldman. He's their bread and butter. A little bit of face masking there by Kovacevic. No call as Goldman picks up a couple the hard way. And he is a bullish type running back. We'll take another look at that one.
That time you're going to see Goldman just go straight off left tackle and really keep his head down and churning. Pretty good play, though, by the New Canaan defense. Might have detected a bit of a face mask, but Kovacevic got his hands off the mask just in time as the Eagles take over once again on the ground. They're doing it.
2nd and 7 now for the Eagles, and here's Goldman. He breaks 1, he breaks 2, still on his feet, across the 45 to the 48-yard line, and that is about as great an example of what Eric Goldman has been doing all season for the Golden Eagles. He's the franchise.
Oh, Ron McGreevy had very good penetration on the offensive line, could not make the tackle. That's the play where it's actually an 8-yard play for New Canaan, because it would have been a 2-yard loss, turns into a 6-yard gain, and then Dan Fessenmeyer missed the tackle. So Goldman will break some tackles for you, believe me.
Frank Bianco finally bringing down Goldman, and he is a rugged one, going 5'10", 190 pounds. 1:26 to go, first quarter, no score. Trumbull on the move, though. Ahern is stopped at the line of scrimmage. He will not pick up the first down on 3rd and 1. And we'll see now if they're going to go for it as Terry Wise makes the big hit at the line.
I think they're going to go for it. They're in a situation here where they got to go for it because when kicking into that win, you figure you're going to probably get 20, 25 yards on a punt. So this will be a good opportunity for Trumbull to go for it.
So 1:13 to go, first quarter, no score, and Trumbull wants to bring on the chains. We'll take a timeout.
Darien Golf Center, the core of your golfing experience. The core of value on all brand-named merchandise. Get the inside edge on your game from Peter and Dana Zangrillo. Darien Golf Center has the selection and competitive pricing. Father and son, owned and operated, Darien Golf is open 7 days a week, year-round for your convenience. For top service, top selection, and competitive pricing, it's your performance golf establishment, Darien Golf Center in Darien.
Well, after the measurement, they came up inches short, and Jerry McDougall, the head coach of Trumbull, decides to play it safe, and he's got Vadas in there to kick it away from his own 35. No pressure, but Vadas slips on the slippery surface, and he gets off a line drive, but a good roll, and it's going to be down at the 20-yard line. Let's go down to the field again, and Mike Quick.
Hey, look what just flew in here, the Trumbull Golden Eagle. Hey, nice to meet you. Nice feathers. Hey, I guess it's better to be an eagle on Thanksgiving than a turkey because you wouldn't make it through the day.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you get your team pumped up?
Just jump around a lot and try and get kids to cheer.
All right, if you didn't hear him, he said he jumps around a lot, tries to get them pumped up. Hey, go fly away, buddy. Nice job. We'll go back up to Dennis and Steve.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, I couldn't hear what he was saying, but it looked like it was pretty interesting. Looked like Big Bird down there.
Certainly did.
Mike always getting interesting guests down on the sidelines. 50 seconds and counting to go. First quarter, no score. It's been all defense so far. That's Ted Grogan. He's across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. A pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 coming up.
Everybody was calling for a defensive struggle. You know, a kind of game like this, you do not want the defense scoring against you. You want to eliminate the defense putting any points on the board. So that may be the reason we're seeing a conservative attack by both teams. Mazzella, on the other hand, has got to get on track because if New Canaan is going to win this game, they must do some damage through the air.
Credit Campfield and Meehan on that last stop. And it'll be 2nd and call it 8 instead coming up for New Canaan. As they are looking for the pass, instead they go with Grogan. And that time, nobody fooled. The Trumbull defense has been very stingy so far. Joe Fita and Sean Meehan again, and that's the end of the first quarter. With no score, Trumbull and New Canaan will be back after this timeout.
Drive that car stereo right over to Ralph's Radio, where you can get your car stereo repaired or get the car stereo you really want, or get a car alarm installed. Ralph's Radio does all their own installation and servicing. They also sell and install cellular phones. Don't put up with this when you can listen to this. See Ralph's Radio in Bridgeport today.
We're not just another pretty face. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers, and we want to help you choose the car or truck that's right for you.
By offering you service and selection at 2nd to none, plus low financing rates.
If you want America's #1 choice in cars and trucks, stop in and see us.
We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers. We're not just another pretty face.
You and me and Chevy makes 3. #1, Fairfield County Chevrolet.
Well, on 3rd down, Tom Mazzella had to scramble out of the pocket. He was looking deep for Lewis. Couldn't find anybody to throw to. Instead, scrambled out right side, and we'll show you at home exactly what happened.
Well, you didn't miss anything at home as Mazzella, once again, scrambles out of the pocket, does not pick up the first down, and now New Canaan is forced to punt into that stiff breeze, and the Trumbull backers are way too deep.
New Canaan yet to pick up a first down, and we are into the second quarter now. That time the punt just rolls out to the 45 or call it the 50-yard line. And that's where Trumbull will take over their best field position of the day. And Steve, they're spotting it back at the New Canaan 47, so even better field position for the Eagles.
Well, it may have hit one of the guys from New Canaan, and once it hits him, that's it. First quarter statistics: Goldman 28 yards, Ahern 18 yards. The New Canaan rushing attack has virtually been non-existent. And again, that's exactly right. They're going to have to diversify that attack a little bit.
So on first down, they give on the first back through. That's Jamie Ahern, and he blasts his way behind some great blocking all the way across the 40 to the 38-yard line.
You know, that time Mark Allen laid a real nice block for Trumbull. And if you're going to have a good running attack, you have to have a good blocking tight end. You go to the NFL and you look at the Giants, and they're having a lot of success on the ground. They're having that success because of a big tight end by the name of Mark Bavaro, who's laying some crushing blocks downfield. And you see the good running teams always having that good blocking tight end. The Golden Eagles have theirs.
Dan Marchetti also throwing a big block on that last play. Got to give credit to that tackle. And that time they're looking for Allen, and Jeff Hahn goes up high, but even he can't come down with it defensively. And that will be incomplete pass. And Jeff Hahn with 3 interceptions last week, Steve, against Greenwich.
Oh, he certainly did. You like calling him Jeff. I thought his name was Jim Hahn.
Is it?
Jim Hahn, number 31, who did have 3 interceptions for New Canaan. And he's got a nose for the ball. I mean, the guy's always around the ball, and he's always coming up with big plays. That time, Vadas did not make the proper adjustment. He had thrown against the wind in the first quarter, throwing into it now in the second.
So it's 3rd and 1 now for Trumbull. They go straight up the middle with Goldman, and he should easily have the first down for the Golden Eagles. The ball at the 37, 38-yard line. What's he now? They spot it way back.
Well, he made a fine tackle there, number 76. Chris Bednar came shooting in from his defensive tackle position and stopped Goldman in his tracks.
Apparently Goldman's knee touched prior to his forward progress.
Well, I'm not sure he picked up this first down, and we have, again, there's no question here Trumbull's going to have to go for this one if they do not pick it up, and they do not.
They're almost a yard shy, and again, initially it looked like Goldman had more than enough, and then they brought the ball back about 1.5 yards. So again, we can only assume that his knee must have touched as he was trying to get through that line.
Well, that may have been the case because you were right. His forward progress certainly looked like he had picked up the first down, but the referees had marked him short. And again, a fine play by the defensive line, 76, Chris Bednar for the New Canaan Rams.
And Trumbull's going to go for it on 4th and inches. Here they come from the eye. It's Ahern, a big hole. He's got the first down, still on his feet, all the way to the 20-yard line. Jamie Ahern with a pickup of about 15 yards.
And that's the beauty of having a guy like Goldman in the backfield because they are keying on Goldman. Ahern, taking nothing away from him, makes a great run as he keeps those legs moving. He is a great complimentary back.
Wise and Fessenmeyer finally dragging him down, but not until he'd gotten all the way to the 20-yard line. And right now, Trumbull with the best scoring opportunity so far. We've got 10-11 to go in this first half.
Oh, the New Canaan Rams are going to need a big defensive play on their side. They're going to have to stop Trumbull for some negative yardage here because Trumbull is getting everything on the ground, 5, 6, 7 yards. Here's Goldman.
And they just keep going right at you. That's Goldman. He may go all the way. He's to the 2-yard line and finally dragged down by number 85, Terry Wise. He's a strong one.
Oh, he certainly is. He takes guys with him. Watch Goldman break the initial line of scrimmage, gets a nice hole, breaks the tackle there, almost goes all the way as Wise pulls him down from behind, and the Eagles are marching, knocking on the door of the New Canaan Rams.
First down, goal to go from the 2-yard line. Up to this point, we are scoreless, 9:40 to go. First half, but Trumbull definitely threatening. And they are almost unstoppable from this close. That's Goldman, touchdown, left side. The first score of the ball game. It's Trumbull 6, New Canaan nothing.
We're going to get another shot of it. Same play as last play over the left tackle as Goldman goes right into the end zone, rolls over some blockers, and puts 6 points on the board.
So now the Eagles will attempt the extra point try. And finally, the deadlock has been broken. It had been a defensive struggle up until that point. And Goldman with the 2-yard plunge has put Trumbull on the board.
They better put somebody in the parking lot to catch this football because Vadas has a knack for kicking those extra points about 40 yards. He likes to stretch his leg out on these
Where's
extra
my car
points.
parked? I'm worried.
Oh, he's got a really shank one to hit yours.
Ismailov holding. The kick is up, and it is blocked by Terry Wise.
Big play.
And that could be big later on. Terry Wise, number 85 for New Canaan, finding an opening, and he comes flying in to block the extra point try. It will remain New Canaan trailing Trumbull 6-0, 9:34 to go in the first half.
You know, those extra points are something that usually that gets taken for granted, but how many times have we seen a team lose a ball game this year because they could not convert an extra point or could not lose undefeated seasons because they cannot convert a kick?
Steve, are you surprised that New Canaan has apparently gotten a little bit away from the passing game? In other words, usually the old adage is you got to dance with the guy who brought you. And in this case, it's been the passing game of New Canaan that's got them here. And now they have seemed to get back to the running game. Are you surprised?
Well, I sense a bit of intimidation on Mazzella's part because when he gets back into the pocket, he's not really looking pass first. He's looking for that hole to run. And if you go back in the pocket, your intention is to first pass the ball. If it's not there, then you run the ball. Well, the Trumbull Eagles have linebackers who are keying on the run. They just want to stop Mazzella from scrambling because he had hurt him the first time around. But he is going to have to look pass first and then run the ball if it's not there.
Vadas teeing up the football at the far hash mark. Of course, he wants no part of that slippery center of the field where they've got the sand over the mud. And he gets off a low kick. It's going to be taken by Steve Luciano at his own 30. And he is drilled at the 35. So it'll be 1st and 10 coming up. New Canaan from their own 35-yard line. And down on the field, once again, Mike Quick.
On the ground, they mix it up real well with Ahern and Goldman. Goldman finding the promised land from 2 yards out. But the big thing was when he came off the field, he came over, sat down for about 20 seconds, gets up, gets right back up, goes out on the kickoff team. Now he's out calling the plays from his middle linebacker spot on defense. He's just a busy guy. Let's go back to the game.
And they'll have Mr. Goldman selling popcorn before long here. He does it all for the Eagles.
You know, and somehow the idea of wearing down never comes into play with the Trumbull Golden Eagles. They just seem to get stronger in the fourth quarter.
And they get back to the pass route. That's complete to Mike Lewis. First down and out of bounds goes Lewis at the 45-yard line. Getting just enough for the first down.
Well, let's see if we can get a shot of the defender, Pinto, number 44 for Trumbull. There maybe you'll see this here. Mazzella fades back into the pocket. Just a quick down and out to Lewis, and Pinto had fallen down, got back up to knock Lewis out of bounds. And as you see, there's just about 5 yards between the out of bounds and the fence, so somebody could get hurt.
There you see how it happened so far. Trumbull leading 6-0. Their last scoring drive, 6 plays. And it was capped off by that 2-yard Eric Goldman touchdown run left side. Mazzella under pressure, escapes for a moment, and then is finally wrapped up by number 77, Kevin Campfield, and a loss of 2 on the play.
And Campfield's a real anchor on that defensive line. He's a defensive tackle, 6'2", 212, the senior for the Trumbull Golden Eagles. Just another key cog in that defensive unit.
And Steve, you know, that last first down was the first down of the ball game, and we're already well into the second quarter with 8:28 to go. Again on the short drop back, Mazzella finds Lewis, and very close to another first down over the middle before Pinto can make the tackle again.
Well, yes, Dennis, close to a first down, but even closer to 6 points because Lewis almost busted that seam right there and went all the way. This is just a quick drop back. Mazzella fires to Lewis, and Lewis almost beats the tackle of Pinto. Had he beaten that tackle, it would have been 6 points. We would have been tied. But Pinto coming up big from his safety position. There's not much you can do to defense that play. If the New Canaan Rams can execute, they will always get that play.
Third down in inches. He came up just short at the 45-yard line of Trumbull. They go back to Grogan. He's got the first down and change. And now New Canaan apparently has got the offensive gears in motion.
And why, Dennis? Because they're throwing the ball.
That's right.
You know, your point is well taken.
Kevin Campfield, by the way, sorry, Steve, in there on that tackle. But I wanted to say that New Canaan traditionally has set up the running game with the pass, whereas most teams, like Trumbull, sets up the passing game with the run.
That's exactly right, because New Canaan wants to throw the ball, but you're going to have to establish some kind of ground game to do that.
First down from the 42. Mazzella, lots of time, flag flies. Kovacevic make that Consolino left sideline, and he's got another first down across the 30 to the 28, but way back at the 45-yard line, a piece of yellow claw.
Oh, they got a holding call.
And you knew Mazzella had a lot of time. And that's why.
That's too bad, though, because Consolini got away from the linebacker who was covering him, had a big gain. There's 20 yards wiped out. That's a 35-yard loss for the New Canaan Rams, because you take away the 20 they gained, you push them back 15 yards, and that is a long, long hill to climb.
And that's not going to make Coach Lou Marinelli any happier, as his team was finally showing some signs of life, and only to come up empty. We're going to send you down to the field, and referee Keith.
That's holding, offense. We still have a first down.
And there you have it, 7:23 to go. It's 6-0 Trumbull. New Canaan easily putting together its best drive of the day so far. And that time they are penalized for the holding after what looked like a first down and then some by Consolino. So instead, it is 1st and 22 coming up. And Mazzella definitely looking to throw. He's under big pressure from Allen, and he eats the ball back at the 31-yard line. Mark Allen coming in untouched.
That's exactly right, Dennis. We had Mark Allen just coming in, well, you'll see it right here, coming in untouched, and you've got to get a block on that guy because he will hurt you all day long. You know, there's just a blown assignment from the blocking standpoint because you've got to get a guy on him.
Well, it started off looking good for New Canaan, and since then a holding penalty and a big sack by Mark Allen have put a damper on things tentatively anyway.
Oh, it's only 3rd and 30 or 2nd and 30. They must have some kind of play for that.
Well, they're listing it as 2nd and 28, close enough. Either way, it's a country mile as far as Mazzella's concerned. He's looking to throw. It's intercepted. He's going all the way. Eric Goldman will take the touch interception return in for 6. It's 12-0 Trumbull. A 45-yard interception return for Eric Goldman, and he's done it offensively and defensively for the Eagles so far.
You talk about reading a play. Man, Goldman had read that whole novel in about 5 seconds.
And the Trumbull fans understandably excited as their team opens up a 12-0 cushion. 6:13 to go, first half.
That was a 40-yard interception return for Eric Goldman as he just picked the pocket of Mazzella and just, I mean, that's just a fine play because he stepped in front of the intended receiver, raced untouched, nobody near him, up the right sideline.
Will they go for 2 here? I bet they will.
Yeah, they probably will go for 2 points here.
And the Eagles calling timeout to talk things over with the score. Trumbull 12, New Canaan nothing. We'll be right back with the rest of the first half.
Johnny's Records.
And we are now waiting to see whether the Golden Eagles will attempt the 2-point conversion or go for the 1-point kick try after a 40-yard interception return by Eric Goldman. And he has now accounted for both Trumbull touchdowns. He ran in at 9:34 of the second quarter from 2 yards away, left side for 6. And the extra point try was blocked by Terry Wise. And now that interception return makes it 12-0 with 6:13 to go in the half. And the Eagles now will go for the 2-point conversion. And they fake the give. Vadas instead looking to throw. And a fine leaping catch, but it will be no good as the intended receiver was Jamie Ahern. And he went flat out for that one, but just couldn't pull it in.
Had he pulled that in, it would have been a great catch as the ball knocked that one off.
And standing by in the Trumbull stands, I believe, is Mike Quick.
Well, I happen to have the proudest person in the whole ballpark right next to me, and why not? This is Mr. Goldman, father of Eric, who you just saw moments ago, step in front of Mike Lewis, and the rest was history. What was he like this morning before he came out?
No conversation, very quiet, had his breakfast and went to the field.
You told me before, though, at 7 o'clock you got him up and...
Yeah, he ran 5 miles this morning.
Is that kid dedicated or what? Before he plays the biggest game of his life, he gets up at 7 o'clock, goes out and runs 5 miles, comes here, goes both ways on kickoff teams. That kid is what you build a ball team around. Now let's go back to Dennis and Steve.
And Steve, do you think the college scouts that are undoubtedly here might be drooling a little bit at the prospect of Eric Goldman in one of their team's uniforms?
I think so. You know, Mike talks about Goldman being dedicated. He's also in pretty good shape to be able to run 5 miles.
That time, a good kick. It's going to be taken by Hahn at his own 11-yard line, trying to find some daylight up the far sideline. He gets out to about the 19. I'll call it the 29-yard line, rather. And that's where New Canaan will set up shop, 1st and 10.
Well, you know, again, we talked earlier about not wanting to let the defense score any points against you, and right away, New Canaan has allowed Trumbull to score 6 points against them. So you can't, you know, Trumbull's good enough without having their defense have to put points on the board. And that's return interception is not something that Goldman is unaccustomed to doing. He had done it against Ridgefield earlier this year also.
The New Canaan offense averaging a little bit over 17 points per game. As you see, Grogan stacked up for a gain of only about a half a yard, making it 1-yard pickup on 1st down. Their defense had been allowing just under 10 points per game after last week's 18-6 win over Greenwich in the semifinal. And already Trumbull has outdone that 10-point per game allowance. They've got 12 already with 5:42 to go in the 1st half. Joe Fita, by the way, making that last tackle for Trumbull. So now with the wing tee come the New Canaan Rams. And they fake the give from the backside. Mazzella is going to be slammed as in there, number 10, John Della Russo for the Eagles. That is the 3rd sack of Tom Mazzella today.
Well, we saw Allen come on the right side. Let's watch Della Russo come from the left. Blindsided is Mazzella, really not hurt, but taken down as the Eagles are getting too much pressure on Mazzella, and it will be a long, long afternoon.
Especially
for
from
Tom
that
Mazzella.
blind side, Steve. They just seem to come in untouched.
Well, I think it's a play designed to have Mazzella get the pass off a lot quicker. That's a quick hitting kind of play. Well, the Trumbull defense is reading it very well, and now Mazzella's a little gun shy.
Well, he gives to Consolino on the reverse, a fumble, but Consolino apparently able to jump on his own miscue. But in the final analysis, it's going to be 4th down and 14, and the Rams again now will have to punt the ball away. Their offense has been struggling. And Steve, I've noticed that Mazzella's only success passing has been on that 1-2 yard drop back.
Well, we have not seen Kovacevic at all here this afternoon, and that's kind of strange.
Well, they like to free him deep, and Mazzella needs a deeper drop back for that kind of a play. So they, by applying that much pressure, have taken Kovacevic out of the offense. Right there, Del Russo is slammed at the 48-yard line by Dan Fessenmeyer. And Fessenmeyer has been a terror on the special teams for New Canaan.
Certainly is getting down there real quick, playing with that reckless abandon that you need on the special teams, and certainly doing a fine job. But, you know, now's the time for New Canaan, gut check time. They've got to stop Trumbull here. You cannot let Trumbull get up 3 scores. Of course, New Canaan, the benefit of their attack is that they are a quick strike offensive attack. And they can get back in a hurry.
And they'll have to. 4:05 and counting to go in this 1st half of the FCIAC championship game here at Boyle Stadium in Stamford. That's Eric Goldman. He's been a one-man wrecking crew. He's got the 1st down and 6 more. A pickup of 16 all the way to the New Canaan 40.
Well, we got an isolation for Mr. Goldman here, and if you talk about one thing in a good back, and it's balance, and Eric Goldman certainly has balance. Watch him break a couple of tackles, cut against the grain, and watch the balance here as he just picked up a big gain. Eric Goldman, the big legs of Eric Goldman, a la Robert Newhouse. I mean, this guy can run.
Steve, Dan Fessenmeyer, the defensive end, had to make that tackle 16 yards downfield. And now they go right back up the middle. The first man through is Jamie Ahern, and he gets about 3 or 4.
Goldman already with 67 yards rushing here in the 1st half for the Golden Eagles. Remember, said before the game, he needs 151 yards to become the all-time leading rusher in Trumbull Golden Eagle history, and quite an accomplishment. Just to come close is quite an accomplishment.
Eric Goldman had all 3 touchdowns in Wilton's loss to the Trumbull Golden Eagles. That was a 21-18 affair, where that was the 3rd game in a row, if you remember back earlier in the season, where Trumbull won in the final seconds. Goldman was the single wrecking crew in that one against the Warriors as well, so he's not totally unfamiliar with doing the job alone. That's a Hearn. He's got lots of room. Still on his feet, all the way to the 15-yard line. Again, it's Dan Fessenmeyer, I believe, or Terry Wise, rather, who finally makes the tackle. But the Eagles threatening to blow this one wide open.
Oh, great open field running by Jamie Ahern. Watch the block downfield by Mark Allen. See if we can get it in our pictures here as Ahern goes off the block. Well, see, Allen just made a little bit of contact with number 10, Steve Luciano, and that was enough to spring Ahern. Ahern, a great job of running.
And here they come on first down and 10 from the 15. That's Goldman left side, and he is finally brought down for the one of those rare losses as Frank Bianco in there in the backfield, perhaps blitzing on the play.
It looks like they may, well, I don't think there was any, they gave him a yard unofficially. So with that carry, Goldman moves past, let's see as we get here, moves past Tony Golardi and also past Ron Burns, who had 1,150 yards, and now he's got Gene Citrano, Sean Talbot, and Tony Cicligloni.
I'm not going to even touch that one.
Tony C.
2:01 to go in the first half, and there's a flag on the play.
How about Cicligloni?
And that's one way to stop the Eagles. Let them beat themselves. They haven't done that but one time, and there you see it. Their first penalty of the day, a procedure call. And that'll cost them 10.
Dead ball, false start, offense, second down.
And Dennis, while we have a little bit of break in the action, I'd like to congratulate you on your 3 AP awards. Dennis Buckman, best play-by-play in the state, along with best sports feature on the news. Great job, Dennis. Congratulations.
Thank you. We'll take them. Vadas under a lot of pressure from Terry Wise. Still almost completes the pass to Nick Ismailov at the 5-yard line. And right now in the stands with the assistant coach from Brian McMahon High School is Mike Quick.
Right here is Steve Annunziato. He's an assistant football coach at Brian McMahon. And if they didn't have to play the Trumbull Eagles, Steve, maybe you guys would have been here this afternoon, this morning. You must really feel bad about it.
Well, I think every coach in the FCIAC, Mike, wishes he was out there coaching on Thanksgiving Day. It's a big game, and it's an honor, and it's really a good shootout, great game, having a great time.
You see anything special out here that
I just saw a big turnover there. New Canaan picked one off on the goal line, so it looks like they're still in the game, but Trumbull has a lot of guns, a lot of weapons, and a lot of good people in skilled positions. New Canaan does also. They're a good team, explosive. I'm just relaxed and having a good day watching the game with my dad.
Okay, have a happy Thanksgiving, Steve. Okay, let's go back to the game.
Well, a tremendous interception right there, number 2 for Hahn.
Well, Vadas really put some mustard on this ball, but Hahn, with the good hands in the defensive backfield, picks it off, has a thought of staying in the end zone, comes out, and that may have cost them as they're at the 11-yard line.
That's a huge interception, too, because Trumbull, if they go in there, are in good shape at 18-0. Instead, it's 12-0, and it looks like New Canaan will sit on the ball a little bit, try to take that 12-0 deficit into the locker room and rally in the second half.
You know, Dennis, we talk about the rushing of Trumbull. You know, they've got over 150 yards already in the first half alone running the football. And to see them throw the ball, you know, you never second guess that because you set up your pass by running the ball. That time, Hahn just made another fine play on the defensive side of things.
Well, we've got an injured player, Trumbull Golden Eagle, on the field, and with a timeout and a break in the action, we'll take one of our own. It's 12-0 Trumbull over New Canaan, 1:13 to go first half.
Drive that car stereo right over to Ralph's Radio, where you can get your car stereo repaired or get the car stereo you really want, or get a car alarm installed. Ralph's Radio does all their own installation and servicing. They also sell and install cellular phones. Don't put up with this when you can listen to this. See Ralph's Radio in Bridgeport today.
And there's David Smith, I believe, from the Fairfield Exchange program. That guy's every place. And he's enjoying the game, no doubt, today. He told me that he is a Trumbull Golden Eagle fan.
Oh,
and that's not a bad fan to be right now anyway, as the Eagles lead 12-0, 1:13 to go first half. They go with the give to Grogan on second down and 8. And Grogan picks up some breathing room, a pickup of about 4 yards before Mike Lewis could bring him down.
He's also
Mark Allen, excuse me.
David's also an Oakland Raider fan, so he certainly stays with those winners. I mean, that's nice to have those winning teams, especially coming from a guy who's got to suffer through the Cincinnati Bengals.
And now another injured Trumbull Golden Eagle. We can't see who it is, but they are attending to him. He's on his feet, so apparently it's nothing too serious, thank goodness. And Steve, I can't emphasize enough just how big that Jim Hahn interception was at the goal line, as that really could have been a game breaker for the Eagles as they were threatening to put the third score of the first half on the board. Hahn rises up and stuffs the Eagles at the goal line.
Well, Hahn's got some real good hands in a defensive secondary, and last week we saw him make a couple interceptions.
Three. That's 5 in 2 games now.
That's incredible. I mean, he reads the ball very, very well in the defensive backfield. And, you know, New Canaan is going to have to come out here throwing. It's tough to throw against this wind, but, you know, they've got their backs against the wall, and they'd like to put on some kind of drive here. A minute to go in the first half. You do not want to turn it over down here.
Well, they play it safe. Again, it's Consolino this time on the flanker reverse inside, and it looks like he is close to a first down from where we sit. Again, I think New Canaan really content to just sit on the ball here and keep the ball out of Trumbull's hands with 58 seconds to go. Sean Meehan and Kevin Campfield in there defensively for Trumbull. And we'll see where they spot the ball. And here come the chains. What's your prediction, Steve? Looks good to me.
Looks short to me.
And my eyes are better than yours. First down for New Canaan, and what that really does, again, is just enable them to finish off this first half and keep the ball out of Trumbull's possession.
And also, I couldn't agree with you. I mean, there's Coach McDougal. He's pretty happy with the call right there. Actually, he's not happy with the call right there because he was hoping to be a little bit short.
They get a good shot of Tom Mazzella and his New Canaan Rams offense.
You know, you're in a situation here, Dennis, you really don't want to turn it over. I mean, if New Canaan goes down 12-0, I think they'll be content, come out in the second half and try to put some scores on the board, but you do not want to turn it over here as Grogan really does a fine. That Grogan's a tough runner. It reminds me a lot of a Hearn for Trumbull. Same kind of runners.
Very tough, very deliberate, a lot of second effort, and that time it pays off to the tune of 6 yards on the carry. And it'll be second and a very long 4. Let's call it actually a 5-yard pickup and 5 to go for the first down. The ball at the 32-yard line of New Canaan. Eric Goldman making the stop for Trumbull. That's Grogan again. He's got some daylight. He's to the 40, to the 44-yard line. And Grogan starting to open it up a little bit as I think Trumbull may be laying back with 11 seconds to go and a 12-0 lead in the first half.
Well, Trumbull's in a bit of a prevent, but Grogan just busts up the middle, gets a big hole, and just leapfrogs over Pinto, and he goes up to about the 40, what do we got, the 44-yard line?
That's where it looks to be, yes, the 44. And again, Grogan, Steve, not really a speedster by any stretch of the imagination, just a very tough, deliberate runner, much like an Eric Goldman, as you mentioned.
He certainly is, and also a Hearn. You know, Dennis, I briefly touched on it before, but we do want to congratulate you on your AP award for the best play-by-play in the state. It's nice to know that I'm working with a guy who, you know, has some respect around the state.
Well, Steve, you make me look good.
Oh, yeah.
As my color commentator.
All right.
And I'd like to put in a little plug. This Saturday night, Steve and I will be back in action, only we'll be indoors on the hardwoods as the Fairfield Stags open up their season at home against the Stonehill College Chieftains. And as usual, Cablevision 12 will be there to bring you all the exciting play-by-play and color from Alumni Hall in Fairfield. Steve Christie and myself doing the honors.
And I'm very excited about that. Another chance to cover the Fairfield Stags, led by head coach Mitch Bonagero, who had a fantastic season last year, leading his troops all the way to the NCAAs, going against Illinois. I mean, there you were watching them on TV against Illinois, you know, Efren Winters and all the big studs. But very excited about this. We also have a very exciting game here, as the New Canaan Rams are definitely not out of it. Had Trumbull scored a touchdown down there, they might have been, but the Rams have life.
Hahn really is got to be thanked a lot at halftime by his teammates for that interception. Mazzella forced out of the pocket. He's got tons of room, but kind of hesitates a little bit, and that's going to run out the first half.
Well, Mazzella is not looking pass first. He's looking to run the ball. You've got to throw the ball downfield.
Also, once you realize you can't throw it, you've got to just make your mind up right away and just take off.
Yeah, but you can't sit at the line and cross it. Then, I mean, Mazzella looks like he's caught in between. Looks like they called another timeout.
With 2 seconds left on the clock, we'll be right back with the remainder of this first half.
Drive that car stereo right over to Ralph's Radio, where you can get your car stereo repaired or get the car stereo you really want, or get a car alarm installed. Ralph's Radio does all their own installation and servicing. They also sell and install cellular phones. Don't put up with this when you can listen to this. See Ralph's Radio in Bridgeport today.
Head coach Jerry McDougal of the Trumbull Golden Eagles, and he's been at Trumbull for something like 20, 25 years, I believe. I think they built him into the foundation of the school. He is a legend out in Trumbull, and understandably, as he has been highly successful with the Eagles. Now Mazzella flares one out left side to Mike Lewis, and he's going nowhere but out of bounds, but that will end the first half as New Canaan will find itself trailing at the intermission, 12-0. And again, we should see more passing from the Rams in the second half, but it was the Jim Hahn interception at the goal line which really saved disaster.
Well, you see, Lewis is taking a quick hit and really not getting much yardage on it, but you know, Mazzella has showed us that he certainly could. We knew he could throw the ball, and I think in the second half you're going to see him throw it a lot more.
And again, we are at the half. The score, Trumbull 12, New Canaan nothing in this FCIAC championship tilt here at Boyle Stadium in Stamford. And before we take a timeout, let's go down the field and talk to head coach Lou Marinelli of the New Canaan Rams.
Coach, a bit different. Last time I talked to you at the half in the Greenwich game, you were all smiles. The situation a bit different today.
It's a little bit different. We got behind, and we're not moving the ball very well. But, you know, it's not over. It's a 12-point lead right now. We've been behind like that before, so we're going to be coming back.
Big interception by Hahn. If they put it in there, it becomes very insurmountable, you could say, almost.
You're right. He's got 10 interceptions all year. He's a very good player. So he saved us. He saved us a couple of times this year.
Okay, Coach. Go pump him up. Good luck in the second half. Well, 12-0, end of the first half. New Canaan, Coach Marinelli, if anybody can get a team fired up, it's that guy. He was made for Hollywood. Let's go back upstairs to Dennis and Steve, where, by the way, they're in a box this week. That's something new.
Yeah, we actually have our jackets off today. This is the first time in 3 weeks, Steve. I'm starting to feel like I'm somebody.
Yeah, we even have heat in the box.
You know, Steve, during that conversation with Marinelli, you and I were discussing the fact that of all teams to rally from a 12-0 deficit, New Canaan is a likely candidate because they are that freewheeling, loose kind of ball club, much like their coach.
They certainly are, Dennis. They embody the coach, as you put it so aptly in the beginning of the game. But the thing about New Canaan is they can come back through the air. They have a very formidable passing attack, and if you're a run team, it's very tough to come back. Well, in this case, New Canaan can come back. They throw one big pass to Lewis or to Kovacevic, and they're back in the ball game. Big interception by Hahn, no question.
Well, I think the thing I'm driving at, though, is that it's one thing to have the physical tools to come back from a 12-0 deficit, which New Canaan certainly has, both running and passing. But I think it's another thing mentally and emotionally. A lot of kids in a game like this, a championship game, big crowd, Thanksgiving Day, you fall down 12-0, sometimes you panic a little bit. I don't believe New Canaan's the kind of team that's going to panic at all. They never say die. They never hit the worry button. They just kind of keep coming, and they're going to just take their best shot in the second half.
Certainly does. They're a team who has fought adversity all during the season. Again, losing their starting quarterback in the beginning of the year. Mazzella coming in, throwing for over 1,000 yards this year. You're right. This team is filled with character, and it stems from the head coach. You know, second half, you're going to have to see New Canaan really put the ball in the air. They also have to
they also have to play some defense.
Right. Well, their defense has not been that bad. They've given up 6 points now.
But you got to remember, Goldman's had 100 yards practically in the first half, and Ahern's had about 40 or so unofficially. And in there some passes, so they really haven't shut them down, but they could have been down a lot worse than 12-0 if it wasn't for Hahn.
That's right. That's right. The running game, they certainly have to make some adjustments to stop the run. But again, if you look at the big running plays, we saw a couple of big touchdowns. There were a few missed tackles. You can't make adjustments on missed tackles. You can only make them next time. You got to make those tackles when you're at the line of scrimmage. When you got it back for a loss, you've got to get them down. If you don't get them down, they're going to be celebrating the end zone, and you're going to be batting your hands on the ground.
New Canaan Ram running away with a Trumbull cheerleader. And
here comes the Golden Eagle to the
rescue.
rescue.
Here comes the Golden Eagle to the rescue. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back with more of the halftime action here right after this timeout.
We're not just another pretty face. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers.
We can help you save money on America's #1 choice of cars and trucks, Chevrolet.
And we offer you low financing rates. Stop in and see us. We want to get to know you better so that we can serve you better. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers, not just another pretty face.
You and me and Chevy makes 3. #1, Fairfield County Chevrolet.
The name of the show is Off the Wall Astrology, and I'm your hostess, Barbara Wall. I'm here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 6:30 to 7 on Cablevision 12 to do your horoscope. Why don't you tune in? Better still, why don't you call in? And you can get your horoscope done live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on Cablevision 12, 6:30 to 7 p.m. Off the Wall Astrology.
Cablevision advertising works. Join a growing new force in advertising. Cablevision advertising. It's effective and affordable. Combine the impact of television, the targeting of special interest magazines, and the frequency of radio. As a Cablevision advertiser, you'll reach a responsive audience in the nation's #1 market in consumer spendable income. You'll advertise in programs designed to reach a specific audience.
Sports channels, sit back, relax, and watch the home teams at home. MTV, 24-hour music television, featuring the hottest and latest rock videos. USA Network, entertainment for the entire family. ESPN, the total sports network 24 hours a day. CNN, cable news network, 24 hours of news and information.
Increase your advertising power with the added impact of print ads in the Cablevision Guide, where your ad will be seen by thousands of Cablevision subscribers for an entire month.
Call us 846-4700. Cablevision advertising can work for you.
And there you see Boyle Stadium in Stamford, where, as it is every year, we're playing the FCIAC championship football game between the Trumbull Golden Eagles and the New Canaan Rams. And right there you see the numbers after one half of play. Trumbull ahead by 2 touchdowns. They have been unable to convert following those touchdowns, and that may work to New Canaan's advantage if they can rally here in the second half.
Well, they certainly do. I mean, if New Canaan gets 2 scores, by all intents and purposes, they're going to be up because they have Sales who kicks the extra points, and you almost know he's going to kick at least 1 out of 2. But, you know, first they have to put that initial 6 points on the board. And you think that they have to, you know, again, get some passing out of Mazzella, get Kovacevic involved in the offense. He hasn't even been thrown to yet this afternoon. So the Eagles are doing a great job at defending Kovacevic.
And, you know, we've talked a lot about the Trumbull offense, but we have not said anywhere near enough about their defense, which has been superb after one half.
Oh, their defense is just a fine defensive team. You know, you talk about statistics, and statistics certainly don't lie. Their defense has allowed just 80-some-odd points all year long, and you only allowed. I mean, that's less than 8 points a game. That's somewhere around 6 to 7 points a game. They do it with a fine group of players. They don't have a star, so to speak. Although Goldman and Allen certainly would be of star quality with other teams, but they blend together very, very well. They have the good front line anchored by Campfield. They've got the good linebackers. Pinto has been in on a number of tackles in the defensive secondary. So right now, the Eagles are very versatile in the defensive backfield. They're able to blitz a little bit from the backfield. They're also able to cover Lewis. They're shutting off Kovacevic, and they are just taking away the tools that New Canaan possesses.
And I understand down on the sidelines, Mike Quick has got an example of the Trumbull fans who are ageless. They go from 8 to 80. Mike?
You know, the FCIAC has had, we've seen some cute cheerleaders this year. I mean, look at the Trumbull squad here today. But if you look down here, I think we found the cutest one. It's taken us till Thanksgiving Day, 12 weeks, but we found it. Here's Gina. You like being a cheerleader?
Yes.
What grade are you in?
First.
First? When you grow up and become a 9th grader, are you going to cheerlead at Trumbull High?
Yes.
Are the Eagles going to win today?
Yes.
Who's your favorite high school team?
Eagles.
Okay, you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Great job. You guys deserve the publicity. And you two out there have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you in the second half. Let's go back to Dennis and Steve.
All right, and Mike Quick always knows how to find the cheerleaders. Have you noticed that, Steve?
I'll tell you, Dennis, he's got a great job down there. I mean, every week he's in the crowd with a bunch of young ladies and, you know, prancing around.
So once again, our score as of halftime finds Trumbull ahead by 2 touchdowns, 12-0 at the intermission. We'll be right back with more of the halftime.
Johnny's Records. Johnny's Records, 45 Topanique Road, Darien, Connecticut.
Drive that car stereo right over to Ralph's Radio, where you can get your car stereo repaired or get the car stereo you really want, or get a car alarm installed. Ralph's Radio does all their own installation and servicing. They also sell and install cellular phones. Don't put up with this when you can listen to this. See Ralph's Radio in Bridgeport today.
We're not just another pretty face. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers.
We can help you save money on America's #1 choice of cars and trucks, Chevrolet.
And we offer you low financing rates. Stop in and see us. We want to get to know you better so that we can serve you better. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers, not just another pretty face.
You and me and Chevy makes 3. #1, Fairfield County Chevrolet.
And once again, we are back here at Boyle Stadium. Dennis Buckman along with Steve Christie and Mike Quick bringing you this FCIAC championship football game where it's Trumbull 12, New Canaan nothing after 1 half of play. And while we've got a break in the action, thought we'd tell you about something that's coming up. Steve and I mentioned a little bit earlier. Our next telecast on Cablevision will be of the basketball variety. Again, we will be kicking off the Fairfield University men's basketball season, the 1986-87 campaign, with my alma mater, the Stonehill College Chieftains, coming to Fairfield's Alumni Hall to take on the Stags. You can catch that one live at 7:30 p.m. Saturday night from Alumni Hall. And we'd also like to tell you that immediately following today's ball game, while we're still into the football season, Steve Christie, along with Linda Christiani of Russell Chevrolet in Fairfield, will be presenting our Player of the Game trophy to today's outstanding player. So you'll be sure to want to hang around after the game for that presentation to today's outstanding football player of the game. And we'd also like to tell you that today's game, as they have been all season long, presented by our fine sponsors, your Fairfield County Chevrolet dealers. You and me and Chevy makes 3. And by Johnny's Records, records and surfwear for the universe. And by Ralph's Radio, your leading auto sound product center. And right now, back down to the field and field reporter Mike Quick.
Well, it's Thanksgiving, and it's a time of year where you spend with your family, and I'm going to spend a little of my time today with the Marinelli family. This is Coach Lou's wife, Franny, and your children.
This is Anna. She's 3.5, and this is Francesca. She's 5.5.
We've seen your husband 3 times this year. He seems so loose, carefree. Is he like it at home?
Yes. Very well. He's a real joker. I mean, he likes to have a good time, and he's pretty laid back.
What was he like this morning?
A nervous wreck.
Was he?
Yes, he was very nervous, but very excited, very optimistic, and very confident of his team. And he says all week he commented on how all the ex-players were coming back and watching the practices and how exciting it was around New Canaan, and how the team was very excited and really up for the game.
Okay. You guys, you all have a great Thanksgiving, okay? You want to say hi to your daddy? Wave to your daddy. Say hi, Daddy.
Wave to Dad.
Maybe he can come back in the second half. You think so?
Yeah.
That is positive thinking right here. Maybe if Coach Marinelli, he's done it before. If anybody can do it, he can. Let's go back to Dennis and Steve.
And I'll tell you, Mrs. Marinelli, She said her husband was nervous. If you talk to Lou Marinelli, he'd say it wasn't nervous. We're just a little anxious. I never get nervous.
Nervous energy.
Again, we are at halftime. The score, Trumbull 12, New Canaan nothing. We'll be back after this.
Johnny's Records. Johnny's Records, 45 Tokenique Road, Darien, Connecticut.
We're not just another pretty face. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers.
We can help you save money on America's #1 choice of cars and trucks, Chevrolet.
And we offer you low financing rates. Stop in and see us. We want to get to know you better so that we can serve you better. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers, not just another pretty face.
You and me and Chevy makes 3. #1, Fairfield County Chevrolet.
The name of the show is Off the Wall Astrology, and I'm your hostess, Barbara Wall. I'm here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 6:30 to 7 on Cablevision 12 to do your horoscope. Why don't you tune in? Better still, why don't you call in? And you can get your horoscope done live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on Cablevision 12, 6:30 to 7 p.m. Off the Wall Astrology.
Drive that car stereo right over to Ralph's Radio, where you can get your car stereo repaired or get the car stereo you really want, or get a car alarm installed. Ralph's Radio does all their own installation and servicing. They also sell and install cellular phones. Don't put up with this when you can listen to this. See Ralph's Radio in Bridgeport today.
We're not just another pretty face. We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers, and we want to help you choose a car or truck that's right for you.
By offering you service and selection that's second to none, plus low financing rates.
If you want America's #1 choice in cars and trucks, stop in and see us.
We're your Fairfield County Chevy dealers. We're not just another pretty face.
You and me and Chevy makes 3. #1, Fairfield County Chevrolet.
And there we go, ready for the second half of play as the captains come back out. Pinto and Goldman for the Trumbull Golden Eagles. While for New Canaan, it's Fessenmeyer and Matt Gels. And we are just about set for the opening kickoff of the second half. And if you just joined us, it is 12-0, Trumbull leading at the half.
Well, Trumbull will be getting the ball to start the second half, and looks like the wind will be at the backs of Mazzella, so right away they need this third quarter.
And there you see the guy who has done the damage for the Eagles so far today. 68 yards rushing and a touchdown, and on top of that, a 40-yard interception return for a touchdown, both coming in the second quarter after the two teams had played to a stalemate after 1 quarter of play. Goldman scoring, I'm sorry, Steve, at the 9:34 mark of the second quarter, and then just about 3 minutes later, he got that interception return. So in about 3 minutes, he does his work to the tune of 12 points.
Now, I'm kind of surprised that New Canaan is kicking off with the wind at their backs. Reason being is you figure Trumbull's going to get the ball to start the second half. They're probably going to take about 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes off the clock by running the ball. That only leaves you with about 7 minutes to go to throw the ball with the wind at your backs. Had they decided to kick the other way, then they were taking a chance that they may have the ball to start the fourth quarter and make more use of the wind. I talk about the wind because it is a very large factor in this game.
But I think what Marinelli wants to do, though, Steve, is to get back into it now. He doesn't want to wait till the fourth quarter. He's got to do it now, and he's going for it now. If he was up 12-0, on the other hand, he might think that way. But trailing 12-0, he's got to do it now in the third quarter. Don't leave yourself with just 1 quarter to go.
I understand that, but you also got to, this is a 2-quarter half, so, you got to, it's almost different coaches for different views, no question. My view would be the other way. Not to say Coach Marinelli's is not right
That's
or
why
wrong.
we're up here in the box, and
Exactly.
they're down there on the sidelines.
Exactly. He's a great coach.
And Sales' kick is sailing away. It's to be taken by Ismailoff at his own 21. We're underway, second half. And down there is Ismailoff being slammed by number 10, Steve Luciano, at the 25. So a 4-yard return, and it'll be 1st and 10, Trumbull coming up.
A relatively penalty-free first half also. Just one big penalty that really hurt New Canaan when they picked up the 20 yards on the pass to their back, which came back 15 more yards because of a holding call. So just one real big penalty so far.
Unofficially, Steve, I think it's just only been one penalty for the Eagles through the first half and only 2 for New Canaan through all of the first half. So it really has been a cleanly played, well-executed first half of play. Right back where he left off in the first half, here comes Eric Goldman. Only that time, New Canaan rises up to stop him after a pickup of just about 1.5 yards, maybe 2. Matt Kell's in there defensively for the Rams.
Goldman's one of those guys who doesn't possess blazing speed, though he has very good speed for his size. But he just gets the job done. Give him the ball, he's good for 5-6 yards a carry.
We are just underway, second half, with about 11 minutes and change to go here in the third quarter. Trumbull getting the ball first to start off the second half. And they are right now faced with a 2nd and call it 8 as they send Ismailoff in motion. And they instead go to Jamie Ahern. He tries to break off right tackle. And right there, Luciani holds on for dear life to bring him down at the line.
Luciani doing a fine job coming up from his defensive back position to cut off the run. The defensive backs and the safeties are going to have to gamble a little bit because Trumbull certainly is not throwing on first down. They have yet to throw on first or second down the whole first half. So it's pretty common knowledge that they're going to run the ball on the first 2 downs.
Steve Luciano, a senior, he goes 5'11", 190. He's in there at defensive back for New Canaan, and he has been a good performer for them this season. Vadas fakes the throw on the draw, goes with Goldman, and Goldman is stopped shy of the first down. In there again, Luciano.
He's very close. I'll tell you this, he is very close.
He is definitely shy, though.
Looks like he's about 1/2 yard shy.
So it'll be 4th and inches, and they want to bring on the chains, but I can almost assure you that they are short of a first down if that first down marker is where it's supposed to be.
You've been eating your carrots this week.
Didn't even have my glasses on.
Looking good, though.
On a roll.
It may be a little bit short, but I'll tell you, that's too close to call for me.
What did I say?
You're right there. You know why? Because you have that camera, right?
Oh, come on. I didn't see it initially, though. The yard marker was 40 yards away on the other sideline.
Okay. The art of television.
And again, head coach Jerry McDougal with the now standard equipment for coaches on all levels, the headsets.
Well,
the coach is up here with us.
Coach McDougal was the first one I've ever seen wear him. He used to have them with the antennas stuck way up in the air, and he looked like
My favorite Martian.
My favorite Martian, exactly. It's just who he looked like.
9:52 and counting, third quarter. Trumbull now to kick it away. Vadas at his own 20. Lewis and Kovacevic back to receive for New Canaan. And Kovacevic does a little two-step to get out of the way of the ball, and it'll roll down to the 24-yard line. And that is something that gets Steve Christie up in arms week in and week out.
I can't stand it. I mean, the reason they're back there is because they're back there to field punts in traffic. If Phil McConkey would do that, then the Giants would be chasing the ball. I mean, the guy fields the punts in traffic. They're back there because they have the best hands. Of course, who do you have back there? You have your wide receiver Lewis. You have your wide receiver Kovacevic. One of those two have got to field that punt. They just lost 15 yards in that play. It might take them 3 or 4 plays to get that back.
1st and 10, quarterback Mazzella. Consolino, your ball carrier, and a pickup of about 3. And let's see where they spot it. Call it a 2-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 8 coming up. Eric Goldman making the stop. Tom Mazzella, the Ram quarterback, with 8 touchdown passes on the season. I think last week I said 18 for whatever reason, and we'll correct that right now. It is 8 touchdown passes. And Kovacevic has been one of his favorite targets. He's not been able to find him today. That time, he finds number 88 instead. Coulter Evans, the receiver, and he has got the first down and then some before Frank Cicero can bring him down. There you see young Evans.
Well, Mazzella this time does not commit himself to the run, stays in the pocket a little extra long and hits Evans for about a 12-yard pickup, so that is going to be a first down for the New Canaan Rams. And that is the way Mazzella has got to operate in the backfield. They've got some linebackers keying on Mazzella in the run, so he's not going to get much yards scrambling. He's going to have to stay in the pocket and find the open receiver.
That time he looked for Lewis deep and didn't have anybody to throw to, so instead went underneath to Coulter Evans, and it worked. That's Consolino as he breaks 3 and 4 tackles. Close to another first down. He'll be about a yard shy, and it'll be 2nd and 1. Defensively, Joe Fida, number 61, the defensive tackle in there for Trumbull.
And I'm really glad we get a chance to see this. Watch Consolino go across the line of scrimmage, look for his hole, finds it, cuts upfield, and picks up 8 yards. Nice run by Consolino.
And some good blocking by the right side of that New Canaan offensive line. On 2nd and 1, Mazzella looking to throw. He's got Lewis. It's there, and it's caught. Complete first down to the 32-yard line, and here come the Rams.
And again, Mazzella looks so much more confident here in the early going in the second half. He just fades back into the pocket, stays strong, and fires a beautiful tight spiral right into Lewis's hands.
And he got the protection, which he did not get in the first half. That time, he had time to send out for a sandwich and eat it by the time he let go.
Well, protection is everything. Also, he doesn't have those quick, jumpy feet. He looks like he's really setting himself here in the pocket.
He's looking to throw again. Rolling right, some pressure, just gets it off, and it's going to be intercepted at the 20-yard line. Number 12, Frank Cicero, coming up with the intercept.
And though Cicero came up with the interception, credit Sean Meehan, the linebacker, with putting the pressure on. Watch Meehan come up the middle. Well, you don't see it there, but he came up and forced Mazzella to throw early. And look, I'll tell you something. Cicero made a fine catch of that interception. That's a big defensive play. Mark that down, folks. 7:30 in the third quarter. Big defensive play.
If nothing else, though, the Rams have shown themselves they can throw. And right there, that's Hearn. He bangs his way for a pickup of about 7. And it'll be 2nd and 3, Trumbull.
That's a point well taken, but we know that everybody knows they can throw. They have to get it on track here.
But they weren't able to prove it to themselves in the first half.
That's right, they certainly did there. Again, remember who they're going up against. They're going up against a defense that on the season has allowed just 34% of the pass attempts to be completed. That is a phenomenal number. 1 out of every 3 passes get completed against this Trumbull defense.
Give Mark Palmgren credit for that tackle. And it's going to be 2nd and 2 now. A pickup of 8 for Ahern on that last play. They go to Goldman, as they usually do in short yardage situations, and he is very close to the first down. And I'll go so far as to say I think he's got it.
No,
by the nose of a football, barely.
Well, whatever you say, I'm going with today, Dennis, because you're 2 for 2.
Well, now you know I'm not right if you said that.
Well, no, I'm going for you. I'm going with you this time.
Frank Bianco made the tackle. Goldman only needed 2. He got very close to exactly 2 yards.
Let's see, I'm going with you here, so it's probably short.
If it is, it's very barely short. It's right there. And there it is. He is just shy.
Oh, yeah.
You put the jinx on me, Steve.
Yeah. I should have. Well, the PA guy here called it. He said it's going to be 3rd in the length of a football.
6:35 to go. 12-0. Trumbull ahead in the third quarter. They're going to go for it here. Obviously, it's 3rd down. And just inches. They again go to Goldman. And there's nobody in the world who's going to stop that guy when all you need is 2 inches.
That's why it's surprising.
In fact, it was Ahern. I'm sorry, after the big build-up, it was Jamie Ahern.
Well, Ahern's not a bad back either. Now, you just talked about Trumbull not being able to, or not being stopped on a 3rd and short situation. Well, twice so far in this ballgame, they've punted on 4th and very short.
Ahern goes 6 foot, 190 pounds as well. Goldman also a 190-pounder, just an inch shorter at 5'11". And here come the Eagles. And they go with Goldman this time. And this is what he does. He gets down real low, uses that hand to keep his balance, and picks up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. And let's go talk to field reporter Mike Quigg.
Well, a record that was set 10 years ago right here on this field at Boyle Stadium in the Thanksgiving game of 159 yards rushing in this Turkey Bowl Classic was set by this guy right here, Tony Gallardi, ironically from Trumbull High. Looks like the record may go today, Tone.
Yeah, it looks like it's in jeopardy with Goldman running the way he is today, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
What did it mean to you playing in a Thanksgiving game?
It was like the greatest thrill I ever had in my life so far. Thanksgiving Day game is unbelievable.
Goldman breaks it. You going to go up and shake his hand after the game?
Yeah, I'm all for it. As long as they win and he breaks it, I'm all for it.
Okay, Tone, happy Thanksgiving. Let's go back to Dennis and Steve.
That time, Eric Goldman getting no help as he picks up maybe a yard, but he did it all on his own.
Well, you know,
So
Dennis,
now it's 3rd and long.
Eric has already surpassed Tony in terms of career rushing. He's done it this game. All he needed was 6 going in, and we know he's got more than 6 yards. So Tony Gallardi has now moved to 6th on the all-time rushing list for the Trumbull High Golden Eagles, as he's here to support Eric Goldman.
3rd and 5 now for the Eagles. And they're looking to throw over the middle to Allen, and a good defensive play by Luciano as he just got a hand on it. Otherwise, Allen was there.
And had Luciano been just a hair quicker, he would have went all the way. You'll get a chance to see it for yourselves. Watch Vadas get back into the pocket, ground level shot, and Luciano just missed picking that ball off. Allen, on the same hand, just missed catching it.
Allen is like a freight train if you let him catch the ball at 6'2", 220 pounds. He is tough to bring down once he catches the ball. Obviously, you've got to deny him the ball in the first place. And that's Vadas, plenty of time under no pressure. Not a deep kick. It goes almost straight up in the air, and it is fielded by Kovacevic and returned to the 45-yard line.
That's a great play by Kovacevic. That's the way you got to field a punt. Now, that ball looked like it may have bounced backwards. So, you know, he may took a very big chance catching that, but that's what a punt return guy has got to do, and you can bet your booties that Coach Marinelli took him to the sidelines before and said, look, you're back there to catch that punt. I want to see him caught. That time, Kovacevic made the big play.
He may be trying to get these guys fired up a little bit.
Well, you know,
it'll be 1st and 10 from the Trumbull 48. Mazzella goes straight up the middle with Ted Grogan, the ball carrier, and Grogan drags a couple of bodies with him for a pickup of about 7 yards.
Oh, it looked like he was stopped for no gain, and out of nowhere he came out of the pack. Let's see if we can get another shot of this. Producer Dave
Canfield,
Raven,
I believe, made the tackle.
putting him on the spot. There he goes. Good job. Comes out of the pack and picks up a good gain where it looked like he was stopped for nothing. Nice run by Ted Grogan. And, you know, New Canaan is not in bad position here. They've got to get a score here, though, in the 3rd quarter. This drive is crucial.
3:57 and counting. 3rd quarter, Mazzella, lots of time. Looking deep for Lewis and just overthrows him. Bill Pinto in there on the coverage defensively for the Eagles. And, Steve, last week we saw Mike Lewis make some sensational circus catches against Greenwich.
Well, it looked like Lewis stopped there and broke his pattern. Looked like if he'd have kept running, that ball would have been right in his hands. A little bit of communications breakdown between Mazzella and Lewis because Lewis had his man beat. Mazzella laid it out there perfectly, but it looked like Lewis pulled up a bit.
So it's going to be 3rd and a long 4 now for the Rams. They fake the reverse and instead go with Consolino, and he has got the 1st down to keep the drive alive, moving it to the 35-yard line. And now New Canaan with its deepest penetration of the ball game. 3:47 to go, 3rd quarter. Kurt Island on the tackle.
Well, here comes Consolino from his wing position here. He comes right around, gets the inside handoff, and picks up a good 6 yards. Picks up the 1st down, and this New Canaan Ram drive is alive.
Consolino, a 6-foot, 160-pound junior. He had a 2-touchdown day against the Staples Wreckers during the regular season. And again, just a junior. He'll be back for Coach Lou Marinelli next season. Mazzello rolling out. He's going to take a punishment from Eric Goldman, who goes for the knees and spins the legs out from underneath Tom Mazzella. And if lucky, Mazzella was able to get back to the line of scrimmage at best.
Boy, is that Goldman a complete player. That time he came up from his linebacker position. Great pursuit. Cut down Mazzella at the knees for a very short gain, if any. It looks like they spotted him right at the line of scrimmage, so it's going to bring a 2nd and 10. But, boy, Eric Goldman not only doing it from the offensive standpoint, also doing it on the other side of the ball.
I don't know if you can tell at home, but he has got tremendous legs on him. And you can see where he generates his power from. Mazzella looking for Lewis again. He's got him. Lewis complete to the 20, call it the 19-yard line, and this kid can really catch the pigskin. Bill Pinto has got to feel persecuted right now.
Well, the guy who threw it did a pretty good job of throwing. Mazzella laid that right into his hands, and boy, Lewis certainly did do a great job of coming down with that ball. Great, that's a very good pattern for New Canaan so far. They've used it 3 times so far this afternoon, clicked on all 3 attempts. Don't be surprised to see them go back to it on the right side now.
Well, you've got Lewis wide out to the right. That's where they're looking. Again, Mazzella looks for Lewis. Again, he finds him. Complete to the 10-yard line. First down again. I believe it's going to be another close spot, maybe a yard shy. But here come the Rams as they've got the passing game in gear.
Well, this time Lewis was just isolated on Bill Pinto, and Pinto at 5'6" is given away about a half a foot as Lewis comes down with a big grab. That's the play.
Steve, you know, importantly there too, Lewis getting in front of Pinto before he turns that pattern in, so he had the ball shielded with his body between him and Pinto. At that time, the running game does nothing for the Rams, but they maybe just be showing that.
Well, how apropos on Thanksgiving Day that Mazzella is stuffed at the line by the Trumbull defense.
So now it is 3rd down and about 3. Credit Campfield and Allen defensively for Trumbull on the stop right there.
Well, New Canaan is in a 4-down situation. There will be no field goals here. They've got 2 more downs to make 3 yards. So don't be surprised to see him go back to to go back to Lewis once again.
I like Consolino as well. I think he's a tough runner. They're going to look for Lewis, though, in the end zone. Under pressure, Mazzella is going to be dropped for a loss of about 2.
Well,
Trumbull hanging tough.
Well, credit number 11, Nick Ismailoff, with some great coverage one-on-one on Lewis as he could not get open. Mike Lewis could not break away from Ismailoff, so now they're faced with a critical 4th and 5, and this is a big, big play. Wouldn't be surprised to see New Canaan call timeout here.
Well, they have not used tight end Chris Gifford at all today. And there you see Trumbull having sacked Mazzella 4 times, and we're still in the 3rd quarter. 45 seconds to go, and Trumbull ahead 12-0. They send McDonald in motion, but they're going to pitch it instead to Kovacevic, and he is dropped. And in fact, make that Consolino. Sean Meehan coming up defensively, and the Eagles have held.
Well, that big defense of the Trumbull Eagles, bend but do not break. They bent a little bit on that drive, certainly did not break. I like the call, though. I like this call. Option play, looked like he had some room. Meehan came up from his linebacker position, made the tackle. Big play.
And a missed assignment there. Mike Amos, you can see, was downfield, did not hit his man, which apparently was Meehan. And Meehan in there to make the big stop. So now the Eagles take over, 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line. And that's Goldman on the pitch. He's got the wall in front of him, but able to penetrate is Kovacevic. He makes the tackle with some help from number 72, Steve Marchetti.
And a quick moving 3rd quarter here. No penalties, just 7 seconds left to go. That's going to be the last play, but Dennis, very penalty-free game so far.
I think that Ron McGreevy on the tackle, I'm sorry. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The Eagles holding New Canaan on that last drive. They will take that 12-0 lead into the 4th quarter when we come back.